The following presentation is a part of the National Heavy Boxing League's 10th season, celebrating 10 years of the premier level of heavy boxing in the Team Fortress 2 community, and a final send-off as the NHBL closes after its 10th season. From London, welcome to the NHBL European Finals Divisionals. Gentleman's Fedora, Tyrone, and Ridge ready to bring you every bit of action here from the Harpoon Gaming Superdome in London, England. 16 heavy boxers entered in last week. Only 8 remain as they try to qualify for a spot in the Super Semis next week to get one step closer to the ultimate title in Europe, the Natascha Heavyweight Champion. Retro and Setuplet. Retro making a huge upset against El Comandante, beating the highly favored heavy boxer to win the Natascha Heavyweight Championship, as well as the only European heavy boxer to participate in the Natascha Heavyweight Championship. He faces off against Setuplet, who managed to get an upset against Ago, acing him 2-0 as Setuplet tries to get some glory as the Finnish heavy boxer who has participated in multiple NHBL tournaments for several seasons. Meanwhile, on the other side of that match, Viking 34 and Chicken facing off. Chicken, a newcomer into the NHBL, facing off from the Heavy Fight Club, one of the dominant heavy boxers under the reins of Ridge and his crew over there in the HFC, facing off against Viking 34, the first European heavy boxer to win an NHBL regular season tournament back in August with the My Variety Backyard Brawl. Now, Tyrone, we look first at this matchup between Retro and Setuplet. You know, Retro, he managed to pull off that huge upset against El Comandante last week, and Setuplet trying to get his glory here. Both of these boxers, it's going to come down to the final round in these 3 out of 5s, but which one has the more competitive edge?
I believe Setuplet, he's just been there way... We all know how much he wants to win this. I think he's got the edge right here.
Yeah, Setuplet having the more motivation going forward. But let's look at Retro. You can't discredit the fact that he beat El Comandante in the first round, which nobody even thought El Comandante would lose even in the first round. Everyone assumed that he would just go all the way to the Natascha Heavyweight Championship and win that. But how is that upset over El Comandante definition of Retro's stamp in the NHBL?
It certainly made a huge impression. Me personally, I thought El Comandante was, I don't want to get into specifics, but I placed a few bets. I have a few regrets, but that really surprised, I think, all of us because we were expecting a lot more competition from El Comandante. But that just speaks to Retro's skill. So I'm very surprised. But I fully expect a good match here right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no money-back guarantee on those bets, to my knowledge, those facetious bets of yours. Now, Riz, let's talk about this next match we have between Viking 34 and Chicken. We'll talk first about your boy from the Heavy Fight Club, Chicken. Managed to beat Metro, who's a long-tenured heavy boxer in the NHBL, having that upset as Metro has been in the league since 2000, the first Season 2, almost said 2002 there. He was in the second season of the NHBL. How is it that Chicken managed to get that upset against Metro, and what stamp does that put on him for his potential future career in the NHBL?
Yeah, I feel like that will act as a very, very, very large confidence booster in terms of him going forward here. He is up against Viking, however, a seasonal veteran, first Euro boxer to win a event here, so it could be a very, very tense matchup between the two of them, the legend versus the upstart, the new up and comer. But upsets can happen, as we know. So can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and you talk about Viking 34, the first heavy boxer based in Europe to win a regular season tournament in the NHBL with winning the My Variety Backyard Brawl back in August. Now that Viking 34 isn't going to be facing off against El Comandante in the final, or at least doesn't have the opportunity to do that, what does that say about Viking 34 potentially going forward in this tournament?
Yeah, in his mind, he would probably think that, El Comandante's out. That's one big hurdle, and it could act as motivation for him / confidence, or might end up changing his play style. But that win, but the fact that El Comandante is out of this tournament now could make sure that he gets riled up enough to possibly win. But we'll have to wait and see.
Setup Lit and Retro taking their warm-up rounds here. Now, Mr. Tyrone, we talk a little bit more about Setup Lit and, again, how hungry he is for a tournament win. He's come so close to getting a tournament win before, to getting to the super semis, but has consistently lost to heavy boxers that he's lost to before, such as Spaten, Russian Bear. I believe he faced off at some Porcupine at some point. So he's lost to strong heavy boxers in the past. Now that he is facing off against people whom he has a more fair ping advantage against, what better chance does he have of winning it all?
It could have been the ping difference. Could be that glass ceiling that we finally allow him to break. It's really interesting to see him in the ring now.
Yeah,
and,
he looks
to see just how much better he is performing. I think it's really letting him show just how much ping makes a difference in hit reg. So yeah. I think I'm really personally glad too that we get to see these players' true skill in, or at least as close as we can without having the server be between the talks. But yeah.
You're just losing your words there, man. But Rage, we'll get your word here real quick. You look at Retro as well. Again, he upset El Comandante by beating him 2-1 in the first round. Like, how does that challenge potentially intimidate Setup Lit going forward?
Well, this win over this huge name El Comandante in this in the NHBL, this will definitely sort of put Setup on a bit of a knife's edge, because he will be like, okay, this man beat El Comandante. That's good and all, but I'm up against him now. So it could, but as we know, these two are very, 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 very good boxers, very, very capable. So it could go either way here.
Yep, and fair sportsmanship displayed by both of the heavy boxers there. Round one begins between Retro and Setup Lit, as Setup Lit seems to be the more aggressive and more moving heavy boxer from the ring. Both boxers get their even punches in, tie 3 apiece, make that 4 down to the final punch here, and it's Retro who gets the first punch. Complete turnaround from what we saw in the mandatory warm-up rounds. Ridge, what made Retro have the competitive edge there?
I feel like I saw Setup kind of miss that fifth and final swing, because as you saw, both of them were sizing each other up. Both of them were moving backwards and forwards. Mind games. But I feel like that Setup kind of did miss that swing. I think Retro did base him into there. So, but as you saw, very, very close first round. It could go either way in the second round.
Round 2, Setup Lit again aggressive out of the corner. Retro a little bit more conservatory as the punches get laid in for both heavy boxers. Looking like Setup Lit has the advantage there, but Retro combats it there as Retro getting some more punches in, and we'll take the second round. Mr. Tyrone, Retro has the lead 2-0 and is 1 round away from advancing to the super semis. What has Setup Lit got to do to crawl back in here, aside from the obvious win 3 rounds in a row?
Thank you.
I wouldn't know, but he's really got to start hitting those punches. It seems like every round that he's seen so far, he's missed a punch that's been crucial to winning. So let's just hope that he gets his game on.
Round 3, 2-0 lead for Retro here as Setup Lit is trying to crawl back from the depths. First punch thrown evenly by both heavy boxers. It looks like Setup Lit will get a little bit of an advantage there, but Retro easily combats it back. Setup Lit trying to get some punches in, and easy distance between them as Retro will sweep Setup Lit 3-0 and head on to the super semis next week. Ridge, you look at how Setup Lit performed in that match, and unfortunately just not as strong a performance as we have seen from Setup Lit there, as Tyrone is going to head down there for the sideline interview with Mr. Retro. But what is it that Setup Lit did that it did not give him as much of a competitive advantage in this match?
I feel like throughout those 3 rounds, both of them were quite evenly matched despite the scoreline. They were sizing each other up pretty darn well. One thing to note, though, is that setup's a more aggressive style. I don't think that really helped him there because Retro managed to find his way around them, but a very surprising 3-0 there from Retro.
Yep, and Retro will box next week in the European Final Super Semis, one step closer to attending the Natascha Heavyweight Championship. Down to the ring with Tyrone. He's on the sideline with Retro and set up lit for the post-match interview. Tyrone?
Good evening, Retro, or whatever time it is in Europe. How are you doing? How does it feel to win? It didn't really.
It's currently 10 to midnight where I am. I'm kind of tired. Not gonna lie. I honestly feel kind of bad. Not gonna lie. He really wanted this, and I feel a little bad for him. I'm not gonna lie. But
did you take any strategy in particular to win this match?
It's like I did last time. It's kind of baiting him into getting hit. So what I would do is circle around him a bit, try and get him to hit me first, and try and dodge his attack. Then I would punch myself. So I throw a punch myself.
Oh. How does it feel being on a European server now that after being so used to being on an American server for that NHBL?
It's a lot easier on the swinging and the fear of being hit from quite a ways away. It's quite nice.
Yeah, I can speak from personal experience that being on a European server, it's you. All you have to do is just play with a Demo Knight and see just how amazingly frustrating it is.
Yeah.
But thank you for your time. This has been a wonderful interview, much better than certain members of the NHBL at least.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tyrone. Looks like he won't ask any questions to set up lit after that match, but unless, of course, Setup Lit wants to answer any questions. But it looks like he is heading out of the ring. I believe we will go ahead and get this matchup as a wrap. So,
if he wants them.
You know what? Yeah, Tyrone's still interviewing there with Setup Lit, who advanced to the second round of the NHBL European Finals.
Please speak into the pan. So, how does it feel? Everyone's experience differs, of course. So, how does it feel? I noticed that if you were not to lose, but to be on the European server, I noticed that you were swinging kind of weirdly, missing some punches you should have. That we expect, especially from your previous experience, to it just seemed odd, to witness those punches. Was just some adjustment? Did you feel like disputing those, or you're just cursed? I suppose being cursed is not part of the NHBL rulebook disputes. And final question: do you have any strategies to try to win next time? Very unfortunate indeed. I can personally speak with used to be connected to Comcast, and that was a nightmare and a half. So thank you for your time, and thank you for taking this interview despite me being a moron and trying to leave. So I apologize. My condolences. And I think that'll be all.
Viking 34 and Chicken facing off here in the Divisional. One of them will face off against either Spogo or Jump Shot in the Super Semis. As with Retro's victory, he will face off against either the Magic Marksman or Randy Orton. Mandatory warm-up rounds occurring here for both of these heavy boxers. Now, Rich, we look at both of them. Let's first talk about Chicken. You've seen him from the Heavy Fight Club. You know exactly what he has to offer, but with him getting that victory against Metro, how much of a motivational factor is that for him going forward, as well as a potential intimidation factor for Viking 34?
The answer is a lot. Metro is a well-established name here in the NHBL. Viking is also an established name. I would kind of say kind of less because we do see less of Viking than Metro in these type of tournaments. But for Viking, this is going to be a bit of a sort of like I'm facing a big guy now sort of moment. So yeah.
Yeah, and Chicken, yeah, you're absolutely right about that whole big guy face thing. And Tyrone, you look at Viking 34, we've seen him back in August with the Backyard Brawl. He won that tournament. The minute that Clayface realized that he was a European heavy boxer, he was freaking out on microphone. It was hilarious for him, everybody. But Viking 34, he won against a guy named Jokelin in the first round, who nobody necessarily knew about. He was kind of a new boxer in the NHBL, so he may have that going for him. But with Viking 34 not boxing since August, what motivation, what potential slump does he have going into this, or what lack of training, how much of an impact will that be on him here?
Well, assuming is very rude. But I he could have trained in some community servers. But I believe he might be a little bit out of practice. But I don't expect him to be out of practice. He's a very good boxer, and I expect him to eat his peas, do his homework, handle all of his responsibilities as we all expect of Viking.
The second divisional of tonight, Viking 34 and Chicken in the middle of the ring exchange punches. Two unusuals will punch it out, and Viking 34 gets the victory. Quick, very quick round there, Tyrone. Both boxers, what can you analyze from that on how quick both of them were?
Very, very aggressive plays, for sure. But of course, that's obvious. But I think that we can both gather that Viking just hits his shots more. I think it might be better for them to take a little bit more relaxed approach to the rounds, because being super aggressive is a very, very risky play. Both of them being super aggressive is very super risky and not what I would personally do. But I'm not a heavy boxer, so they're the experts.
All right, sound of the bell. We begin round two. Win this. Ned,
Round
stop
two.
trying to eat me.
Round two, Viking leads Chicken 1-0 as they both are quick with their punches in the middle. Viking a little bit more aggressive there, but Chicken will get the second round victory. Mr. Chicken ties it up 1-1. So, Ridge, we are seeing the heavy fight club within Chicken.
Definitely, this is the type of style which I do see a lot from him in terms of basing and whatnot. This is a very entertaining match between the veteran and the underdog here. Oh, that's really all I've got to say, really. Battle of the unusuals. Which effect is better, burning flames or whatever that effect is? I'm not an expert.
Tied 1-1 between Viking 34 and Chicken. First punch thrown in there by Chicken as Viking 34 deals it back. Both of them keeping their punches up. It's even now as Viking managed to get a punch in there, and Chicken trying to land some more, but Viking will take the lead 2-1. Chicken has to win 2 in a row here to win this quarterfinal, but Viking only has to get one more victory here. Tyrone, how likely is it for Chicken to make it back in this one?
Good. Clearly, he's evenly matched against his opponent, at least relatively, because he can win against Viking 34. But it's gonna... I believe Chicken's more defensive approach, it seems, is doing him favors. So let's just see how that plays out.
Here's round 4. Viking 34 leads it 2-1 over Chicken. Chicken trying to get another W in this round match here as Viking 34 will deny him. Chicken falls 3-1, and Viking 34 is moving on to the super semis pending any disputes within the several seconds, but I believe that will end it. As Ridge heads down to get the interview with the victor and the one who was unfortunately fallen, Tyrone, what is it that Chicken lacked in this match that didn't allow him to advance forward or at least bring it to the final round?
It seemed like Chicken should have hit a few punches that he really normally would have. I think there is some adjusting, getting used to from American servers to the European servers. There's some adjustment that happens, you know. But that's why we have the warm-up round, so you get a little adjusted to hitting your punches. So let's just see how Ridge handles the interview.
Sorry, I was just I'm doing something. Hold on, I'll be there in about 1 minute or so.
Oh, well, as he's down there, he's saying, oh, just hold on a second, I'll be right back. It's great. So Ridge will get an interview here with Viking 34 and Chicken in just a moment. So we'll see how they face off here. So you look at... All right, well, down back to Ridge.
All right, so we've got Viking here first. First question for you, Viking. How much of a motivational factor do you think this is for you? Because you know you're advanced to the super semis. This must be a very exciting time for you.
Thank you. Well, this was one of the hardest fights I've actually had. So I assume that if the next fight's going to be harder, I'm not going to last very long. Motivation is probably subpar at this point.
Subpar, interesting that. So, as this is your grandiose return, will we see you in future events if this goes well for you? Because this will act as your return, this grand return. I reckon.
We'll see.
We will definitely see here. Where is my boy Chicken gone? Where is he? He's over there. Come in here. So, Chicken. Do you reckon this loss to Viking has thrown you off at all, or do you reckon it's done anything to throw you off boxing?
Not boxing. It'll probably be in the next whenever Heroes are on. But yeah, gosh, I did awful. Oof.
And where do you think you'll go from here? Do you reckon you'll be in many more, certainly American tournaments? Because I know how bad your ping's going to be there.
Oh well, you know, NR's up from here, so Zynga.
Zynga, God's show. Alright, well, I think that concludes our interviews here. Thank you both. Very brilliant match. Very fantastically good match, that. Thoroughly enjoyed it. 10 out of 10. Yeah, pretty much our interviews.